I'm Aaron Price here on the Have a Sip podcast. Today we are speaking with Realtor Candace Cecil.
Mhm.
How you doing?
Good. I'm great.
Yeah, is the market doing well for you?
It's good. I mean, it's been, it's a crazy year, crazy couple of years, but yeah, it's good. I mean, I can't complain.
Yeah, we're up and down,
Hmm.
all the which way. Super inconsistent, but when it's busy, it's
Yep.
hair on fire busy.
Closed for last month and I have nothing on the books for May.
Oh,
So that's okay.
yes.
I've got listings though.
Yeah, so that's the name of the game right now
Oh,
because
yes.
it seems like it's so week to week and you can't really plan for much. Just take it when it comes. And right now
That's
is
right.
making hay time for me. It's springtime. It's moving season,
Hmm.
and it's been pretty good.
Good.
So we just wanted to get in a couple topics with you here on the podcast. Um, the first one being, I'll start the first one. What's the you're listing a house. You go for your listing appointment.
Mhm.
What's some of the weirdest things you've ever seen?
Oh
When
gosh. Well, in the 18 years has been more than a few things, but I want to say probably one of the weirdest things I saw was a house in DeBerry. Average, common subdivision, but they had bank security doors on the front and on the patio.
wow,
So I mean, they were steel, gold plated looking,
like a
and
vault door.
like vault doors. Yeah, they had them on the front and they had them on the back, but the windows didn't have bars or anything like that. And the things in the house were kind of weird, and you just got a vibe. But so I was representing the buyer. It was a bank-owned property, and yeah, that was interesting, and they were pretty heavy to remove for my customers.
Hmm.
So I would say that's probably one of the craziest things. I mean, I understand if it was $1 million home, but at that moment and that time, I believe this was back in 2011 or 12. The house I think sold for 165,000, and it had literally big vault doors on it.
Wow. Did they have any gold bullion in the house?
No, they did not. They did not.
Was it
Just
bulletproof glass windows?
yes. No,
Oh.
no, not windows. And that's the thing. It was regular single pane windows
Yeah.
with these massive big vault doors. So it's like, well, if they really wanted to get in the house, if there was something that important or expensive, they could have gotten through the windows. And you've done a lot. It was in Saxon Woods. So you've
Yeah.
done a lot of inspections in Saxon Woods.
That's
And
something.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know those windows. So yeah.
Yeah, I know those good. How much did it cost? Did the next person change it out
They
or
took it, yeah, my
yeah?
buyers removed it. I wanna say I don't remember how, because it's been years, but they had more than a few people, friends enlisted to help them remove
Yeah.
it and take it away. I think they may have sold it if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's a pretty interesting find.
Yes.
Um, you never know what you're gonna find when you're going in these houses. People living in there,
Mhm.
everyone's got their own thing.
Mhm.
So you just have to be prepared for anything.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So if we all know the online dating scene. If houses had a dating profile,
Mhm.
what would be a red flag
I think for every realtor would and even buyers, when there's hardly any pictures or there's an exterior picture, and it makes you
on the listing? You
on the
mean?
listing
Yeah.
side, yes. If once it goes in the MLS or goes on, third party fed websites, you always think like, okay, what are they hiding? What's wrong? And that's why, I mean, I definitely pride myself in making sure that when I do list a property, that I showcase it in every way I can. And I understand there's circumstances and things that happen, whether it's tenant occupied or what have you. But when a week or two in to the house being on the market and they still don't have photos, that makes you wonder, okay, what's wrong? And there's many buyers that will be like, there's something wrong with the house. Why are we not seeing
Mm-hmm.
all these rooms or even a couple of the rooms?
Yeah.
So that would be the biggest red flag for me as a buyer, is where are the pictures?
Yeah. Because
Especially when
if
85% or 90% of buyers go online to look at homes, if not more. And that's what they're utilizing, is the pictures and the Matterport or the tours or the video, and there's nothing. They're like they're hiding something.
I actually do recon on the listing, like when I get the inspection, I go and check out the listing and see what I'm getting into.
Right.
And it's a red flag for me. I'm like, oh no, there's only like 4 photos on this
Yeah.
thing. What am I getting into?
Right.
Or they're super like filtered and highlighted on a 1980s like flip home, and I'm like, this thing's gonna be a
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like in the dating world, you gotta make sure you know what you're getting involved with.
Right, right. And I hear
Yeah.
it a lot that even when we do, we're realtors, we're paid to market the property in the best light that we can. So, of course, we're going to show the house in the best light and to get that buyer enticed to go and see the property. So when there's nothing there, then they're like, oof, yeah, something's wrong.
What about cell phone pictures?
Never. I
Never.
mean, I pride myself in, again, spending the money and getting the professional photos, the drone photos and stuff. But when you're utilizing your cell phone, you're not capturing in the best light. And a lot of it's dark. And sometimes you wonder, like, are they hiding something or different angles of the property or the room if they're not showing all angles of the room? Again, sometimes it makes you think, what are they hiding?
Is that a tip off that people should be like if you're looking online and hey, these look like amateur photos, cell phone photos.
Mhm. I mean, I think that falls on the agent. Sorry if realtors hate me for saying that, because the seller hires you to showcase the property. And if you're utilizing your cell phone, I would say maybe I wouldn't want to date the realtor just because they're not putting their best foot forward. And how is that transaction going to go? So it could be absolutely a red flag because there's many parties that come in to make a transaction successful, and the realtors are at the helm of it, on top of the seller and the buyer. And if you're working with a realtor that's using cell phone, are they really doing their best job?
Hmm.
And there's, is there a reason? Is it because they're lazy? Is it because maybe they don't have the funds to do that? And in turn, that somehow is going to come out in the transaction. And as you know, because I know you've bought and sold many properties, when you have parties that are involved that might not be to that same caliber, it can make the transaction go haywire, even when it doesn't need to.
Hmm.
So that's sometimes, for me, personal preference. I will always use professional photography. I am not a photographer, and yeah, so it's like I always want to make sure I showcase it the best way, so that way I take away any guesses.
Right. No, it's a good deal.
Yep.
So there's always many things in a real estate transaction that can go wrong.
Mhm.
Do you recall like your biggest oops moment or something that went totally haywire?
Um, I mean, there's been a few. In 18 years, you're gonna have a few, but like I said, this year's been kind of crazy. So I did probably the stupidest thing I could ever have done in my 18 years. I sold a house in Saxon Woods to customers, I think in 2015, and they called me. It's actually customers that you did an inspection for. They called me to purchase another house in the subdivision down the road. And so we got it under contract. They closed on the property. Well, now they want to list their house that they bought with me in 2015. So I gave the photographer the number and street address of the house that they purchased
Oh
and
no.
not the house that they were selling. And unfortunately for the owners, they had the same codes. So when the photographer went in, oh, he videoed and photography did photography for the house that I had just sold. And so I had to call the photography and be like, so I've done something I've never done in my 18 years. You did the wrong house, and I gave you the address for the wrong house. So yeah.
Yeah, that can
I
happen.
He and I were just dying laughing. I'm like, I blamed it on menopause. Like, I cannot believe I did that. So that's probably the dumbest, most expensive mistake I've made
Yes.
in real estate, because I did the photos, the twilight photos, the drone photos, the Matterport tour. So something
Oh
that
man.
it was double cost for me. So yeah, yeah.
What does that run? I have no
So
idea.
it's gonna usually, I think everything was, well, actually, let me take that back. He didn't do the video because I caught it before that. So it's gonna cost me about
Oh, that's
$1,700.
a that's I mean, you're doing that video package on houses that you're
Yeah,
listing though.
most
So,
of them.
yeah.
90% of them.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was, you get all the bells and whistles. It's going to be that, but
Yeah. Well, depending
um,
on the house, I mean, obviously at a 500,000 price point, I like to do the twilight photos, and especially when it has a pool, and this one had a
mhm.
pool, and it backs up to a lake. So I went a little bit above and beyond, also because they are return customers and stuff. But I felt that this house had a lot to showcase, so that's why I did the twilights and the video schematic. Because sometimes he'll just do a reel and it's a little bit cheaper, but I
Mhm.
wanted the video, cinematic video, if you will. So that's why it was so much.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
the only one who's mixed up addresses. I've started inspecting homes only to realize I'm like a street off or like a numbered street or
Yeah.
whatever. You just get screwed up with all the numbers.
Yeah.
And it might even have a for sale sign in there, and
Yes.
it just all works out, and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't lining up here. Am I at the right place?
Right.
And it doesn't happen often, but I have done that.
Yeah, I had an appraiser appraise the wrong house. I was representing the seller, if I recall correctly, and of course I was like, "How could he do that?" Well, it's God's way of keeping me humble because it can happen.
Yes. So everyone's always looking for ways to improve their house.
Mhm.
If you renovated one room, what room would you choose and why?
Kitchen.
The kitchen?
The kitchen, it's the heart of the home. I mean, think about it, especially if you have people over, anyone comes over. 9 times out of 10, you're sitting at that kitchen counter, or friends, family, or you're watching TV. But I feel, and it's, people cook and all that good stuff. Conversation happens. Kitchen for sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and if you add seating to your kitchen,
Hmm.
bar top or a little breakfast nook or something like that, it really is the heart of the home.
Yep.
Because now kids come in there, they sit down, they have a snack. You might actually have a conversation with them.
Make a mess.
Right? Yep.
Yes.
So, and you probably get your most return for the dollars spent on the
Yep.
kitchen.
That and paint. Paint goes a long way, but the kitchen for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that if you're getting ready to list your home, paint and carpet, you know, standard procedure there?
I would a deep clean and paint is probably where I was recommending in starting, because if you've got cobwebs and dirt, people are like, well, you didn't maintain the home, and a lot of people buyers will think that. But yes, kitchen and paint. Carpet, some people love carpet, some people don't. If it's old orange carpet or green carpet,
Hmm.
absolutely. Or sometimes if you change the flooring and you put a type of flooring that another buyer doesn't want, it's waste of money. So sometimes I like to use that as a negotiating skill. But 100% paint, even if it's just a basic color, because if you've got like a dark color, that's hard to cover up. But if you put a lighter color, it'll be easier for that buyer to come in and say, okay, well, I won't need, instead of having to do kills or multiple coats or spend on a high end, I could just do a general paint and
Hmm.
then be able to cover it up when it's a lighter color.
I'd say on my end, it would be getting the exterior of the house washed
Yes.
and get the vegetation off.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Those two things, when I pull up to a house, that's my biggest tip off of how it's going to go.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
going to be like, man, there's trees all over this
Hmm.
thing. Not only is it hurting the roof, gutters are full, and this and that, it's just an indication of their attention
To do, yeah.
to what's going on in the home.
Yeah.
And if they haven't had their house washed, in a couple years or maybe even ever,
Hmm.
uh, that's a sign also. And in my opinion, you should be washing the house once a year. It's
Hmm.
Florida, hot, sticky, humid, mold mildew grows on everything.
Hmm.
We get little stucco cracks. You
Yep.
know, you want to know what's going on in the exterior because
Hmm.
that's going to protect your interior.
Yep. One of my biggest things too, when I look at, especially when I'm walking up to a home, is wood decay.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of veterans, and veterans, I would rather sell a veteran a home because generally 99% of the time when they're getting a VA loan, that VA loan is more guaranteed than a conventional loan or FHA because they're more forgiving. They want to get that veteran in that house. So I will walk up. That's one of the biggest things I look at is wood decay. And I will tell them because there's a good amount of veteran buyers in our market. You don't want to exclude them, especially if you can get them under contract and everything goes good with the inspection appraisal. It's a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that I generally look out for
Yeah.
as well.
That's one of my first questions to a realtor when I get there or on the front end is this a VA loan?
Hmm.
Because that's going to let me know, wood decay. It's got to be
Right.
clean. And there's sometimes I go into these things, I'm like, holy cow, this isn't going to be good
Yeah.
because there's all kind of drywood termite damage or whatever, right? Or just a lot of wood decay.
Hmm.
And, they got to fix all that. It
Yep.
has to be addressed. So knowing your buyers and what inspections go for those buyers and, with your eye, just want a showing.
Yep.
You'd be like, "Oh, guys, this is gonna be tough, right?"
Yeah. Well, you've stopped a couple, I
Yeah,
think one or two of my inspections for a veteran when you know that, hey, listen, there's drywood termites. Do you want me to continue? If
yeah,
not, we'll stop it here and save them a little bit of money and move on to the next one.
yeah,
But yeah, there's certain things that you have to look at the beginning to make sure that it meets all the loan products and so
yeah,
we get, because the ultimate goal is to get to closing.
correct. Yep, you wanna protect your clients in the way.
Yes.
So we see in housing, trends come and go.
Hmm.
What's the most overhyped trend that's going on right now that you wish would go away?
I don't know if I wish would go away, but what I'm hearing would go away is the grays and the white cabinetry. A lot
Mhm,
of buyers are kind of trying to get back to, I guess, the basics. So I think that that is probably one of the things that a lot of people are like, okay, I'm done with that. I've seen it, been there, done that. Kind of
Mhm.
like the cherry wood cabinets back in the early 90s or the green in the 80s and 90s and stuff. I think that I'm hearing a lot of buyers are like, I want color. I want color versus the either the tan and the white or the gray and the white. A lot of buyers are like, we want some color and character, if you will.
I've seen like yellow cabinets.
Yeah.
In one of the ones that we did recently, I saw blue.
Two-dimensional, a lot of that
Yep.
now.
So, yeah, we'll look back at that time period, be able to peg a house when
Same
it
thing with the
got,
green.
yeah, flipped
Yep.
or
Yep.
renovated,
Yep.
and it's held on a long time though.
It has
I
10
mean,
years at least,
yeah,
I feel
it's
like.
like that's your standard flip
Mhm.
white cabinets,
Gray.
the salt and pepper like granite countertop,
Mhm.
and then gray paint.
With the LVP flooring that's
Mm-hmm.
multicolor with the gray and the browns.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
So I wonder what the preferred scheme will be.
I think a lot of neutral colors. Like I think I saw something. The colors were like, kind of like that not like lighter, like pastel blue and green and rose colored and things like that. So we'll see.
Be like Easter egg.
Kind of, but not as Easter eggy. Maybe a little bit more toned down.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
so we'll see.
All right. A lot of people fall in love with the houses that they're making offers on.
Mm-hmm.
It's an emotional transaction and an emotional roller coaster.
100%. Mm-hmm.
Could you describe a house as if you were meeting your soulmate?
Oh gosh, for me personally,
Like, what would be the description?
um, for me personally, for my soulmate house, if you will, it would be entertaining space because I love having people over. I love having my kids over and their friends and my family and holidays. So it would be large open space, entertaining, and big closet. I have a
Yes.
shopping hobby, so big closet. And then a self-contained commode area. I do not I don't like when the commode is out. I mean,
Need
just
a
to be
door,
a door,
a
yes,
buffer zone.
where it's closed and you can just have your own privacy while
Right.
you're on your phone or whatever. But yeah, it would be large entertaining space and large closet and self-contained commode, and obviously I would love to have a pool.
Yeah.
Pool just to because again, I love to have people over and entertain and just have my kids bring their friends over and things along those lines. So those would be my ideal thing. Close to the beach would be great too,
Right.
or water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if you got the pool, at least you can jump in, cool off.
exactly.
And really, you're never far away from water
True.
in the state or around here. So you can always drive to the beach if you
That's
need
true.
to.
That is true.
So whenever I go into attics and crawl spaces, people always get a little spooked out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They don't like going in those spaces.
mm-mm.
Have you ever had the feeling of being scared when a client ghosts you?
Um, one time, and it was actually on a personal home I was renting. We had my youngest son, and we had moved into Saxon Woods, and we were selling our home or renting, I'm sorry, our home in DeBerry. And the client was all gun ho about leasing it from us and just on me all day long for 4 or 5 days. And then all of a sudden he just went dark. And I'm just like, okay, this is weird. Something's off. And then crazy story, 5 o'clock news, they're looking for him on the
Mm.
5 o'clock news because his girlfriend had been shot.
Oh
And
man.
unfortunately, he killed her. And so this was, I think, the day before Christmas or the day before Christmas Eve, and I did not sleep that night because I was like, he knew everything about my ex and I. He knew where we lived because he had searched us, and it was scary because I was like, okay, this guy shot and killed,
Yeah.
allegedly originally shot and killed this his ex-girlfriend in our subdivision and was gone. And he was not returning my phone calls, things along those lines. And then he unfortunately had shot himself. So I got a little bit of a relief, but that was probably one of the scariest ghosts
Yeah, that
I've ever
is.
had. Yeah.
That is a scary situation.
Yeah.
Wow. How long ago was that?
Oh gosh, that was 2000. I moved into Saxon Woods in 2009.
Okay.
I guess a little bit ago, but yeah.
Yeah, that's probably on the news and everything.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Wow. That's a unique situation. Mine aren't
Yes.
that scary.
Oh yeah.
I'm usually my biggest fears is like animal in the crawl space.
Snakes. Yeah.
I've found snakes and electric panels alive
Hmm.
multiple times.
Hmm.
Snake in an attic one time.
Oh
In a
wow.
hot attic. It was summertime. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was hanging out in the attic. Um, yeah, those are confined spaces, so you never know what's going to be up there. Whether
Mhm.
someone's storing crazy stuff like Halloween decor or
Right.
mannequins, or just kind of unusual personal belongings,
Right.
even. So you never know what you're getting into in this business.
No, not at all. There's been, especially in the downturn of the market, there were squatters in houses and
Yeah.
stuff. And so I walked into a couple with the doors being flown open and apparently someone running out of the house.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes. That's why, I mean,
you got to keep them secured.
yeah. When it's
Mm,
vacant, I'm very reluctant to go in the house by myself until
true.
someone else gets there.
Yeah, I not too much, but every once in a while you get a little spooked out. You're in a house by yourself in a bad area, perhaps, or you notice like there's a broke window
Hmm.
or the door's just open.
Yeah, you get a vibe.
Yeah, and you're like,
Mm,
this isn't normal,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And most of the time, unfortunately you're there by yourself.
Hmm.
And I just start listening then. Do I hear anything?
Yeah.
But pretty rare.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
rare.
Well, just recently I had a house in New Smyrna that I closed. And when we walked up, there was a gentleman, a little sketchy, in the driveway. And we were like, and he was charging some devices. And so he asked us if he could charge the devices. And I said no. And I was with a 70-year-old man who was purchasing the home. And I said, no, he's buying the house today. You're going to have to go find somewhere else because it was a vacant bank owned property. And then we closed on the property. And then the next day, I get a call from the New Smyrna Beach Sheriff as I'm doing a Habitat for Humanity build, actually, ironically, 2 streets over. And they're like, there was a gentleman that we caught trying to break into the property. Would you mind? And I say, and I kind of described the guy, and they're like, yes, that's him. And so I went over to the house, identified the guy. They arrested the gentleman, and apparently he was a gentleman that New Smyrna Beach had been after for a while. They didn't give me details, but apparently issues that involved a child
Mm,
or children. I was like, oh my gosh.
yes.
So yeah, you have to always be aware of your surroundings, always be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. It's not worth your life, and you've got to just be always on aware of what's going on in your surroundings
Yes.
100%.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that sellers do when you get a listing that just drives you crazy?
Mhm. Listen to the news. Listen to the news.
Uh,
I mean, obviously it depends on what outlet you look at or listen to, I should say, what you're reading. But news is so centralized. It's a big hype,
yeah.
and so many times we'll sit down at a table or even listen to their neighbors too, and sit down at a table, and they're like, "Well, we heard that this is interest rates are gonna are going significantly up, or banks aren't lending, or the
Mhm.
market's gonna crash." And talk to a professional, talk to someone who breathes, and does this full time, and on me personally, someone who's involved, because when you're involved in leadership, you're involved in whether it be local, state, national, association, chamber of commerce, you're with other business professionals, and you're actually hearing what they're experiencing, but you're experiencing it yourself, especially when you're doing this full time. So when they're listening to the news, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's a buyer's market, we're crashing." So then you've got these sellers that are like, "No, no, no, my house is worth this," and you'll get these offers that are 40, 50, $60,000 under list price, and the home has only been on the market for a week. The seller's not willing to take that, especially right now.
Mhm.
And so that's our biggest, I think, challenge we're overcoming is they listen to the news or their neighbor, or, well, Joe down the street sold his house for $50,000 more than what you're telling me. Well, did you know Joe's house was 1,000 square feet bigger with a pool and completely updated, and yours hasn't
Mhm.
been touched since the 1980s? There's a lot of factors into that realm. So I
Yeah,
think
put the 50
overcoming.
grand into it.
Exactly. Exactly. I think just it's overcoming the hype that they hear on the news or by their neighbors. That's probably the biggest challenge. Or seeing on certain websites that their house is worth a certain
Mhm.
amount without realizing that that doesn't mean that they could be comparing your house is 1,500 square feet, and they're comparing a 3,000 square foot house to your 1,500 square foot house. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's going to yield a higher price than your house. And so when you look at a certain, website that tells you your house is worth this, and then you go out as a realtor, it's like, no, I'm sorry, it's not, because they don't compare apples to apples
Right.
as closely as we can. It's just a general guesstimate, if you will.
Yeah, they're not looking at all of the factors. They're just oh, if their house is worth that, mine's worth this,
Well,
and just going off some real rough data.
Well, and like we spoke earlier, condition matters.
Yeah.
Condition matters. So their house could be no kids, no dogs, and only two people, and the one of them was a clean freak, where
Mhm.
you have four kids and three dogs and work two or three jobs.
Yeah.
And you just don't have the time, means, or financial backing to be able to make it look like that. So that's a huge difference too. And I think that's a lot of people, they get offended by that when you try and tell them, "Hey, it's condition, you
Mhm.
gotta clean your house." But if they want the most money, you've gotta have that hard conversation with them.
Yeah. I just did a house a couple weeks ago, 7 people living in it. It was like 2,500 square feet.
Wow.
That's
Like,
tight,
that's
and
yeah,
that's hard on a house.
it is.
I mean, it shows the wear and tear just simply by the amount of usage
Mhm.
that it's getting.
Yep.
So my report is going to be filled with a bunch of frivolous, nitpicky, beat up old home type stuff.
Mhm.
That house was actually pretty nice. It just
Mhm.
needed a interior redo.
Right.
But I think the deal fell apart because of just the amount of, what riffraff, just
Mhm.
dumb stuff, nitpicky, frivolous stuff, but it becomes quite an expense when you start,
Mhm.
this needs fixing, that needs fixing. They
Mhm.
haven't done this.
Right.
And it's just an indication they're not keeping up with it. They might have a new roof, but guess what? They put the new roof on and never trimmed the trees off of it the last 5 years because they're not doing anything anyways.
Right.
And a house is a continual maintenance,
100%.
never stops. So you have to always be on it, looking for little issues to fix.
Mhm. Well, I can attest to that. At one point in time, I had 5 dogs in the house, and I'm getting ready to list my property, and, I'm having to paint because, those little slobbery noses and mouths are all over my
Smudges
wall.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Hard on
yeah,
the doors,
they are
you
100%.
know?
The door, yeah, the doors and the baseboards.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pets, a heavy pet house, um, AC.
Mhm,
It's always the coils are always dirty underneath.
mhm.
It adds a lot of wear and tear to the home physically and mechanically.
Yeah. Well, it's like if I if I have a house that's a second home, I will make sure that I advertise that because if it's a second home, that that home has only been lived in probably half the actual time
Mhm.
or even less than that. And I do make sure as well that the appraiser knows that because they sometimes will take that into consideration because of the wear and tear because you have your actual age and you have your effective age.
Yeah.
So when your actual age is the actual age that the house was made and people got certification of occupancy, but the effective age includes the updates that have been done, but also the condition.
Mhm.
And so I've been able to get a couple more thousand for my sellers when I've told the appraiser, hey, listen, it was only lived in this house half the time or at 3 months out of the year. And they're like, oh, okay, that affects the effective age.
Yeah, makes a big
Yep.
difference.
Yes.
If your real estate career had a theme song,
Mhm.
what would the song be?
It would probably be championed by Carrie Ann Underwood and Ludacris. I got into real estate in 2007. Downturn, the market took a nosedive, and everyone looked at me like, what do you think? What are you doing? Like you're getting,
Mhm.
and of course, everyone has a real estate license, and so a lot of people were like, you're never gonna make it. You're never gonna make it. And thankfully, I mean, it's not been all butterflies and rainbows, and there's been rich months, there's been poor months, but I've after 18 years, I can still stand and say, hey, listen, I'm still doing this, and I'm doing pretty decent at it. I mean, God willing, I've closed anywhere from 15 to 30 properties a year throughout the 18 years. And to look back now at the naysayers, especially some family members that are like, oh, I did that, been there, done that. And, you'll be back at Walmart or whatever,
Mhm.
but to be able to be able to sustain myself, especially by myself. I've been by
Yeah.
myself for 10 years, single mom, and to be able to do it and to do it successfully on top of being heavily involved in leadership, which is a passion of mine, to be able to do that but still sustain myself financially has been probably the biggest what's the word, just the biggest, I guess, empowerment, if you will, for me. And so yeah, I feel like what, I'm invincible, not that I'm
Mhm.
100%, but I feel like I've overcome a lot, especially in an industry that is so volatile, in a market that was just so bad. I mean, I was selling houses for $50,000, and
You gotta
there
turn a lot of a lot of homes to get the
100%.
revenue.
100%. And then we were in short sale mode, and I was,
Mhm.
a lot of homes were 7 to I had one property took 3 years. It was a short sale. 6 months to 3 years to wait for a paycheck. And you're
Mhm.
working. You're still working. You're still marketing. You're still calling the sellers. You're still talking. You're still calling the banks and stuff like that. So your doubt, your amount per hour obviously goes
Mhm.
down. But just to be able to look at it now and be like, "Hey, listen, I did it," or "I'm doing it. I'm doing
Right.
it good. I'm doing it successfully." I mean, some months are better than others, and some years are better than others. But at the end of the day, God willing, and thank God, I'm still here. I'm still doing it. So I would say that would be my champion, my realtor theme song.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a very volatile field. People
Mhm.
coming and going all the
Mhm.
time. They jump in, they jump out. You're a lifer.
Mhm.
That's about the same time I got started. I mean,
So
this is my career.
Yep.
Like I'm not looking for something else. I've been dealing with houses for just like you, 18 years.
Mhm.
So it's that different market. You have to shape shift.
Mhm.
You have to continually evolve because
Mhm.
if you can make it in those tough markets,
You can make
it's
it.
easy.
Yeah.
When it's busy and everybody's busy, you're busy too. But
Mhm.
maybe you can have the pleasure of kind of doing the work you want to do when it gets busy. Right
Yep.
now, it's just you gotta survive because of the market
Yep.
conditions. But you never know what you're gonna find in these houses or what kind of listing you're gonna get or buyers and sellers. There's so many personalities.
Mhm.
You just
Yeah.
gotta be able to work with people.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
have to.
this industry has a 30% success rate. And, of course, I'm sure, especially people getting into industry now, when they're like, "Oh, I'm going to get a real estate license," we all kind of like, buckle up.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart, as you know, it's not for the faint of heart. And you have to be prepared to be, a psychologist, a firefighter, a negotiator,
Hmm.
just, someone, a shoulder to cry on, a champion and encourager. Like, we can get this, we can do it, because it's a hard industry. It
Hmm.
is a hard industry, and you cannot take it personally. But I mean, I encourage everyone, get into it. You've made a great career. You've, been able to actually bring your wife into it. I've had a very, very good career and sustained myself, and I love what I do, and I love our industry, so I want to encourage everyone to do it,
Hmm.
but also just know it's hard. It
Well,
is
it's
hard.
scary because when the phone stops ringing, you're like, "What just happened out there?"
Yeah.
What it just went quiet.
Mhm.
But then, it's hard to enjoy the quiet times because when it does do that, you kind of recoil
Freak
and you're
out.
like, "Oh my god, is
Yeah.
this it?"
Mhm.
Even though it happens all the time, I've still haven't gotten used to it.
No, me neither. After
So
18 years, I'm like, I say God is trying to teach me to appreciate the downtime.
right.
And it's so hard because you wake up unemployed every day, and it's like you got to go out there and you got to fight for it, or you've got to cultivate that business and cultivate those relationships. And it's tough. It is
Hmm.
tough,
It's
but
not for everybody, but it's a
mm-mm.
very rewarding industry.
Mhm.
It's if you're a people person. I
Right. You
mean,
have to like
yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah. This is that's what it is. It's all
Mhm.
people,
Yep.
all relationships, and problem solving out the
Mhm.
wazoo. So you gotta be good with people.
Yeah, and you can't take things personally.
No.
You're dealing with people's biggest asset and different personalities. I mean, obviously learn from any mistakes, or, sometimes, someone will say something and you're just like, oh, damn it, but at the end of the day, the only way you can do it is learn and make and do better, but not take it personally. You can't, because, sometimes, especially I've always had a challenge with people who are widowers, or, lost their,
Hmm.
their significant other, because they're doing it alone. And especially if they've been together for a while, that is definitely a very sensitive situation that you have to be very mindful of, because they're lonely, they're scared, they're just like, oh my gosh, and that you are their person, even though
Hmm.
their person's gone. You are their person. You've got
They've
to
got no one else to
handhold.
lean on.
Exactly. And sometimes they can, like they would be with their spouse or their significant other, they're gonna take it out on you, and you
Hmm.
just gotta be like, "Okay, it's nothing personal." It is very, very stressful to buy or sell a home. It's very stressful. On top, not just, I mean, the transaction is very, very stressful, but then you've got all the other stuff, the moving,
Hmm.
and whether figure out where they're going or figure out where they're leaving and how they're gonna do that. So you've got to be able to understand and just be very mindful of the emotions that you've got to manage.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
There's a lot of real estate emergencies.
mhm,
I kind of feel like some of them are not handled very well, and they're kind of created
mhm,
by timelines.
mhm,
Are people not? doing planning accordingly. I'll give you a good example that happened just the other week. Is uh, they had a closing. It's always closing time,
Mhm.
and they needed to meet a certain date, but they didn't call her Monday and Tuesday. They called on Wednesday. Well, Monday and Tuesdays the phones are busy.
Mhm.
If you got an emergency, like you need to know, like I need to get this lined up.
Right.
They waited 2 days, and so I could have got out there,
How they had called.
right,
Mhm.
or texted, or any way reached out
Yep.
and made it happen. But it's like once you get booked up,
Mhm.
like I can still try to make it happen
Mhm.
or figure something out, but you're working on such a tight deadline
Yep.
all the time
Mhm.
in this business.
Oh, 100%.
Yep. So I've got a couple of real estate trends, interior design features, things that homes come with these days, and I just want to get your opinion on is it buy
Mhm. Mhm.
or
Right.
buy?
Gotcha.
All right. So these are things that I run into, and I'm like, why hasn't they updated it, or should they update, or that kind of a thing. So brick fireplace.
Ah. I say buy it because some people will like it, and if they don't like it, then they can paint
Or
it.
they could change it
Yeah.
stone over. It could be changed relatively easy.
Yep.
It's one of my favorites. Jacuzzi tub.
I love mine. But
You have the jets?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say buy
If you're gonna use it.
if you're gonna use it.
Yeah. A lot
Yes.
of times they're kind of a waste of space.
My first one just held my clothes.
Right. Yeah. All right. Etched glass anywhere in the house.
Buy, like,
See
no.
ya?
Yeah.
Get rid of it?
Yeah. That's definitely dated. 80s, 90s.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. All right. A decorative backsplash. Like with a design.
Buy.
Like out of here.
Yeah, 'cause different tastes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too specific.
And it's too hard to remove.
Yes.
It's not something that you could just go in. I mean, you could paint over it, but no, don't even do it. Just plain,
Keep it generic,
generic,
simple, clean.
something that can go with the trends.
Got it. All right. One of my favorites here. A multi-head shower.
I like it. And I
The
used to
rainfall and the
not the rainfall. I know people love it, but to me, especially because women don't like to wash their hair every day.
oh yeah, and you have to
And
then.
so when you have a rain shower that comes down, then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would rather have the rain coming from the side than overhead.
What I don't like about that is now I've got plumbing in the ceiling.
True.
And I'm like, God, if there's ever a leak up there, I mean, it's bad
Yeah.
enough anywhere in the house, but now it's elevated.
Yep.
So it's and also who did it,
Right.
because somebody moved the plumbing up there.
Right. That's
So
true.
it's just something else you got to investigate.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, smart home features.
As long as the Wi-Fi is working, it's great.
Right.
And and the operator knows how to do it. Like I had in my home in New Smyrna, we had put in those Philip lights that when you put on the TV, they adjust to the sound of the TV. It's great when you know how to use it,
Mm-hmm.
but when the app goes down or the Wi-Fi goes down or you get a new phone and then you don't know how to do it, then it's like gotta call Geek Squad.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends. I mean, I do like the Nests. I think they're great, or the certain thermostats where you can
Mm-hmm.
control it from your phone, things along those lines. But honestly, sometimes I'm like, let's just go back to the easy stuff because if your Wi-Fi goes down, I'm not going to have any air,
Right.
you know? So yeah.
Yeah, and it takes me longer to do inspections because now I got to figure out
Right.
this system.
Hmm.
Most of the time, the sellers aren't there, and is there a remote for
Right.
the pool? Is there, uh, you know, a thermostat that I've maybe never dealt with because
Hmm.
I got to figure out every one of those things. Or if the Wi-Fi, like you said,
Hmm.
they might have already moved out and there's no internet.
Right.
And so now you don't have the network to operate any of this stuff on. So it can limit an inspection,
That's true.
to a certain degree.
Yes, that's true.
If you're a listing agent, I would just say tip, uh, get all the remotes out,
Yeah.
pool, fans, fireplace,
Hmm.
and just stick them on the island counter or, somewhere in the kitchen.
With instructions.
Right. That way we don't have to
Because they're
hunt
all
them
different.
down.
They're
Yeah.
all different.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we're just pressing, what does this go to? I don't know. It would be
Yes.
nice if it was a little more outlined and labeled.
Yes.
All right. Exposed wood beams. Like a vaulted ceiling.
Depends on the I think with the right decor in the house, a lot of people like it. I mean, especially with that whole country feel coming back. If you have it decorated to kind of go with that, then sometimes it'll work, but many times paint them white because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of buyers don't like them.
Yeah.
It has to be in the right decor and the right environment for those to actually look appealing.
The theme
The
of the
theme.
house
Exactly. Yep,
has to fit
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Glass block windows.
No, take them away.
Or a partition.
Yeah. No,
Like in the
especially
middle
in
of the
the
bathroom.
shower. Like, who
Yeah.
does that? Like, no, it's so 80s. I could say something more, but it's so
Yeah.
80s movie style, if you will. Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
It
do it.
ages it right away.
Oh, 100%.
Yep. That and
Yeah.
the jacuzzi tub. I walk in, I'm like, oh, this thing's original.
Yes.
And now I'm thinking, does the jacuzzi tub work? Where's the jet?
Yes. How can you
And
get to it?
yeah, and
If you
most
can without opening the wall.
I went through a run where like I was on a 50% leak rate of the motor for the jacuzzi tub because no
Wow.
one uses it. It just
Yeah.
is dried out. It's
Yeah.
old. And there's some component in there leaking inside a wall that's all closed in.
Yeah.
So it's a very confined space. I don't like jacuzzi
No,
tubs.
I do.
No.
Well, a green jacuzzi tub, get rid of it. Or
Yeah.
burgundy, get rid
Right.
of it.
Our countersunk one.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, I've seen those in the 80s homes where they're lower than the floor.
Yes, and actually, one of my friends, Christina, her mom fell into one
Oh,
recently because it's that sunken one.
yeah.
And then I sold a house in DeBerry Golf and Country Club, and there was a jacuzzi tub, but there were stairs going up to the
Like
jacuzzi
a
tub.
platform.
Yes. So on a night where they were enjoying some adult beverages, they tripped and fell
Mm.
and went into the jacuzzi tub.
Did they have a no diving sign?
Right? Right.
Oh. All right. Well, that's all of my questions.
Okay.
Um, you want
I'm surprised you didn't ask me about popcorn ceilings.
Yeah.
Get rid of
I
those.
know those are no
Bye.
good.
Yeah.
How much time we got, guys? Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about or any kind of tips you want to give? Whatever you want to do, I'm good with.
I mean, I would say, especially in this market, because I still think that sellers are thinking that we're still in 21, 22. And they're wondering why are the homes sitting? And they are, even though we have low inventory, we are still historically low inventory. Invest that money in making that house the best way you can.
Yeah, you got to
Because
shine right now.
you 100% have to. And but don't expect for it to go in a multiple offer situation within the week. You're looking at easily 20 to 30 days at minimum right
Yeah.
now. Condo market, even worse. Certain areas of our county, even worse, because either the vast majority of inventory, even though we're still low, they have a lot more to choose from, but also too, certain areas have stigmatisms, especially when we went through the hurricanes and things like that. Just showcasing that the home in the best light, a good deep clean, fresh paint, great curb appeal, which includes, the houses, the shrubs, the driveway, pressure
Hmm.
washing. Those are musts. Sellers before, and especially in 2021 through 2022, you could just throw the house on the market. It did not care whether it was painted. It didn't care if you still had dirty underwear on the floor. They don't care. They were just, I want to buy the house because we had no inventory, but we had a ton of buyers. Now the sellers have to take the time. They have to. They have to clean, declutter, do updates. I mean, like I said, I'm getting ready to put my house on the market and I have redone my driveway, the front yard, the backyard, painted, redoing the stairs, light fixtures, just because I want my house to go and
Yeah.
stand out, and I want people to get in there. And so I'm investing a good amount of money to get my house on the market, and just understand that that's really what needs to be done.
Yeah, you don't want to go to sell it and then list it and then price reduction, price reduction, price reduction.
Right? Because
It's
then they wonder
sitting
what's wrong with the house.
because you're, in this market, you're kind of losing dollars every day.
Yeah.
The longer it's on there, it's tough. So you want to be situated the
Mhm.
best way you can. If
Yes.
you stick it at the right price, I've noticed I get, homes to inspect that have been on the market like a week.
Right.
And so it's still happening.
Mhm.
I'm still seeing some out of state buyers, long distance buyers.
Mhm.
I noticed that quite a bit this month.
Mhm.
Um, so that hopefully that's good because our market depends a lot on out of state
Mhm.
buyers.
Oh,
It's a
absolutely.
huge portion of it, and that'll help come clean up, get some of the inventory out.
Right.
Um, yeah, on my end, the most underutilized, asset or tool or whatever is the pre-list inspection.
Mhm.
If you've got a client that's been in the house 15, 20 years, they don't know what's going on. If it's an older person
Mhm.
who has been letting the deferred maintenance go, you want to know as a listing agent, what am I selling here?
Right.
What
Yeah.
are the red flags coming up
Mhm.
that are going to reduce the price anyways,
Right.
right? So let's either price it right or fix it
Right.
and take care of the customer because they're just trying to move on with their life.
Right. Yeah,
So,
and there's a few of in my listings in particular, we're chasing the market. We are chasing the market,
mm,
and I don't like it. And and they're not doing some of the recommendations that I'm asking them to do, and it's just sitting there because again, buyers are going on the online first before they're going in the
right.
house. And if they see something that they don't like, and if it's not done, especially if it's a colored wall or maybe something that they're like, oh gosh, paneling or something along those lines, they're like dollar signs. So here they are already paying a higher interest rate, 4% increase in purchase price, even though we have low inventory annually, and then they're going to have to put money into the house already. A lot of
Mm,
buyers, especially, if they're in this, if they live here, a lot of them don't have the money to expend on that. So, like I said, fresh paint goes a long way. A
mm-hmm.
lot, I mean, it goes a long way.
It shows
So,
that you did something,
exactly.
and that if it's clean and presentable, it goes a long way for sure. You know, the more proactive you can be, the better result you're gonna get.
100%. Hmm.
Yeah, right now in this market, if you're chasing the market. You gotta stick the price below that to get it to
Yeah.
getting juice
Yeah.
to where you can stop reducing all the
Right.
time.
But then the sellers they're still in that, they're still thinking it's a seller's market.
Yeah,
And
it's
so it's hard because again, they're looking at what their neighbors are selling for, or even what certain websites might say, or other realtors might even say. And it's just like, but this is the data. Look at the data. And then also too, sometimes I'll overlist, but I'll like, listen, this is what I recommend. We can start here, but we need to do something quickly. So price reductions I feel are happening more quickly
mm-hmm.
than they normally would if it was a traditional market. Like
Yeah.
in 2018, 19, we were in a regular normal market, but now it's like the reductions are happening more quickly.
Yeah. We're about from what the data I've seen is like 20% overvalued.
Mm.
So if we could just get there, burn
Mhm.
off this inventory,
Yes.
it'll be coming right back up.
Yes. And pray something
Um,
happens with the interest rates.
yeah, I think they'll come down and that'll spike some buyers. Well, I noticed an uptick just from when they fell
Oh,
a couple weeks
100%.
ago. So there's pent up demand
Hmm.
for sure. People, will give up a 3% for a 5%
Hmm.
because guess what? Life's happened in those five
Right.
years. They've had a baby. They've
Right.
got mom moving in with them.
Hmm.
Something, or they
Yes.
just want to upgrade. So they're out there. I think it's coming. It's
Yeah.
just we're waiting on the right recipe
Right.
to capitalize on that.
Yeah, like you said, when we saw the interest rates go down, I mean, I got 4 properties in a contract within 48 hours.
Mhm.
And so that just goes to show that interest rate matters. And so I'm hearing by the end of the year will definitely be more attractive, hopefully closer to those lower six, mid fives, if you will. Hopefully, if all goes well. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, the end of this year will be interesting.
Yeah.
Usually it's quiet, depending on the time and months, but I think the end of the year is going to be interesting.
So don't plan a winter vacation.
Maybe not. I mean, Christmas the time frame, but yeah.
Flip it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, because this usually our buying season is. I don't know how next month's gonna look. I knew April was gonna be busy.
Mhm.
I was looking at March. It was kind of weak,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a busy month. Then
Mhm.
the rates cut, and then bam,
Yep.
it was busy.
Yeah, which is great.
So yeah, I need a little bit of a period of to enjoy the downtime,
Yes.
but you never do.
No.
I'm telling myself already this week. I'm like, just take advantage of it.
Yeah. I stress.
You know,
I stress.
get to do the podcast,
Mhm.
get to do some work in some other ways. It's fun.
Yeah,
So it's not always got to be a grind,
right.
you know, and out there at the physical properties. But anyhow, this has been Aaron Price with Super Inspection Pros. Have a Sip podcast.
Mhm.
Today, our guest was Candace
Mhm.
Cecil, and she's a long term realtor.
Mhm.
Tell them about all your leadership experience because it's
Oh
quite
goodness. It
a lot.
is. So like I said earlier, I love leadership because I feel like when I originally got into real estate, I obviously felt more of a real estate agent. Once I became in leadership, which leadership is like a volunteer role where you are giving back to your industry, and whether it's in serving on the board level or serving as a committee chair, I felt like a realtor because I felt like I was truly investing in my career with learning. It was almost like more education. So thankfully, I've had some amazing opportunities to be president of the West Volusia Association in 2018, district vice president for Florida Realtors in 2020, and I'm current president of New Summer Beach Board of Realtors for this year. And I've also served Florida Realtors with chairing some committees, including professional development and their forums committee, which they go over the forums that are utilized by Florida Realtors, and also on the national level for professional development as well, because that's really what sets real estate agents and realtors apart is our code of ethics, and that protects the public, protects our transaction to ensure that realtors are actually adhered to guidelines that protect everyone. And so it's been great because we're unfortunately have gone through a lot of change, including a significant lawsuit in our industry. And unfortunately, I hate to even say this, there are realtors that still don't even know about this lawsuit.
Mhm.
I knew about this lawsuit 4 years ago. Why? Because I was involved. And that's why I'm a huge proponent, even if it's just one committee at your local board level, do it because it will set you apart. Or even if you're just involved in a community association, whether it's Rotary or Chamber of Commerce or things along those lines, Business Networking International, that you learn to collaborate with other people, but you're always learning from them. And that makes me, I mean, I just did a class on code of ethics, and it was for our leadership academy, and I sat in there and I learned something new, and I'm like, even though sometimes it's like a lot of the same information, I feel like you can always take away something, which in turn makes you a better realtor.
Mhm.
So that's why I've drank the Kool-Aid and taken the tequila shots, I say, because that's why I won't stop being involved as much as I
Yeah.
can, because I truly you gain relationships and collaboration. And then again, like if I have a customer who is moving to another area, whether it be Pensacola, I can call on one of my classmates, Lynn Peters, or whether they're moving to West Palm, I can call on another classmate, and I know they're going to be taken care of. And so that's why I build those relationships so that way I can one be a better realtor, but also if I have to and refer another one of my customers somewhere else, I know they're with an agent who's going to take care of them like I would take care of them. So yeah,
First moment, let this finish. This will take about a minute. It's all right.
you're fine.
It's the AC bulb that goes. Okay.
Okay. I think I was actually pretty much, I think I'm good. But yeah, so I encourage if you are in the industry to get involved,
Yeah.
whether it's local, state, national, or even just attend conferences, attend your district conference, because that's where you learn what's going on in the industry. We just had a huge bill that potentially could be passed where it will eliminate the Florida Real Estate Commission
Mm.
and put it under the Department of Business Regulations, which is going to be a huge pivot in our industry. And the continuing education piece could be changed a little bit. So we'll see. And we have people in Tallahassee doing a great job fighting for our industry, fighting for, making sure that we keep our industry professional. And so we'll be interested to see how that plays out. But I wouldn't know that stuff if I
Right.
wasn't part of
Involved.
leadership.
Yeah. If you're
100%.
a young realtor, you got to get involved. It's your profession,
100%.
you know, and you can really make, you know, a very good living doing this. And it's rewarding. You're helping people, but you got to get out there
Hmm.
and step out and start, you know, if nothing else, you get to see what professional realtors,
Do
how they handle themselves, what they
collaboration.
know.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like Cynthia DeLuca said it best. treat your career like a hobby, or like not like a hobby, but like a career.
Mhm.
And when you invest in it and you take that time, then you are treating it like a career and you will be successful. I never thought that I could make the money I make and provide for my children and experience the things that I've experienced without a college education. Never thought I could
Yeah.
do that. And thank God I'm still here, 18 years in the making and stuff. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I hadn't have taken that leap of faith. But in turn, part of my success is being involved. I
Yeah.
mean, I probably close 3 to 5 a year through leadership,
Just referrals.
just referrals and yeah, leadership and referral,
That's
people
some
referring
people's whole
me.
year,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's
So
kicking in on the referral bucket.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's good. You
Yeah.
need those little chip ins,
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. I mean, I just part of my month last month was a good amount. I on 2 referrals, it was pretty much 1 sale for me. And
Yeah.
all I had to do was do some research online, make sure and ask some questions, make some phone calls, and I put the buyer, and she was a buyer and a seller, in the right hands, and she was able to move from Arizona to Iowa with family and had 2 amazing agents that took care of her. But I knew the questions to ask. I knew the information to look for. I just didn't go on a third party site. I did a lot of research and some phone calls and was able to make some, little money, but also make sure the customer, more importantly, was taken care of.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, we thank you for being
Yep.
with us today. How can the, folks, if they wanna hire a professional realtor, get in touch with you?
They can go call me at 407-416-0579 or go on our website at localliving.rg.com and or Facebook, social media. I'm always on there, but I love what I do, and you'll definitely see it through the transaction.
Excellent. Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you for the opportunity, Aaron. Appreciate it.